I am Brian Kenneth Condis, author and photographer of Amazing Photography, the Art of Composition. Today, I'm having a video where I'm going to reveal the secret, amazing HDR shots. Now this is for the Nikon D750, but it can also apply to other Nikon cameras. In the comment section, please let me know if this works for your Nikon. So high dynamic range photos, HDR, those are created by merging a number of exposure bracketed shots. Exposure bracketing in aperture priority or manual mode, what the camera does is they're going to modify the exposure by varying that shutter speed. They're going to be changing the shutter speed, and that's how they change the exposure. So that secret that I'm going to reveal, it's called spot metering. And what spot metering is, it's how the camera uses the focus point to determine exposure. So I'm going to show you 3 photos, and it starts off with 2 stops underexposed. If we zoom in on here, you can see that we got exposure is 1/30th of a second. F16, ISO 100. Now, the second exposure on this bracketed 3 shots. Second shot is a correct exposure. If we look at the details, and this is the focusing point on both of these photos. And they were saying the correct exposure 1/8 of a second. See, f-stop, the aperture, and ISO remain the same. Now finally we have the third and final shot of the bracketed series. Okay, you can probably see that that was shot at 1.5 seconds, half a second. Again, at the same aperture and ISO. But scrolling, looking at this, you can see that, yeah, the interior is nicely exposed, but this is overexposed outside. Now going to what they say is a correct exposure, we still have some overexposure here. You know, it's really underexposed inside. And the underexposed image, only the window is correctly exposed. The sky is correctly exposed, the outside. Now, I took all 3 of these shots into Lightroom, merged them to create one high definition HDR shot. And that's this shot here. But in my book, you're going to learn how to use spot metering to calculate the number of stops and determine the increment value for bracketing. And you can learn more information about amazing photography and composition at amazingphotography.net.